Hi men, Alex here. I'm taking you through the gear for Tasmania. So you have that gear list as a printout. However, I wanted to go through the gear just in physical form so you can get a bit of an idea of what I'm taking and what you'll be taking. And this will assist before we actually get together and go through it all. So all my gear set out here on the table. I'll be hiking in a pair of long pants, quick dries. This is from Kathmandu, kind of a good midweight with a lightweight long sleeve shirt. This particular shirt's from Patagonia. It doesn't have a collar. There's lots on the markets. Importantly, whether you go a collar or not is up to you. I prefer something lighter weight that's going to dry really quickly rather than some of these quick dry shirts that actually don't dry that quickly at all. So that's what I'll hike in during the day. Pair of jocks, my socks, there's my hiking boots. The best pair of boots are the ones that are comfortable and a good sole, particularly the sole so your feet don't bruise. No older than 5 years. If your boots are on the way out, then replace them. If you're not sure, replace them anyway. I've had boots fall apart too many times on trips and it's just inconvenient and a bit stressful. So good pair of boots, don't have to be waterproof. A pair of knee-length gaiters. You can get those from any camping shop. They don't have to be anything special. They don't have to be waterproof. They're protecting your boots from the mud getting in through the top, because there will be times where it'll be muddy. Protection against snakes. And also what's important is that gaiters come to your knees. Your waterproof jacket comes down kind of to a short line, so you don't have much of your body exposed if it's a really cold day. So this is my Gore-Tex jacket, or waterproof jacket. It's not too long. It does have a hood, essential to have a hood, a couple of pockets, but that's just more out of convenience. I live in this jacket. If it's windy, I'll put it on. If it's just cool, I'll probably put that on before I put on another layer. So good jacket, absolutely essential. Kathmandu have them on sale from time to time. I'm not trying to plug Kathmandu. Sometimes it's value driven and it's useful just to have a good idea to see where the sales are on. Also remember, Kathmandu online sometimes have items at their outlet that aren't in the shop, so it's worth having a look online. If it's cold, I'll put on a mid-weight thermal top. This is a merino wool. I like the merino wool. It just feels better. It stays comfortable over a long period of time. Some of the cheaper ones tend to peel and get a bit itchy. This one's got a zip at the top just with a high neck, but that's not necessarily important. I've also have a lightweight vest. This is actually a windstopper vest. It does have a hood, doesn't need to have a hood if you're going to go and get one. Another thermal top could work as well. This is just another layer in case it's really cold. I have a pair of sunproof gloves. That just protects the back of my hands. Means that I don't need to put sunscreen on. A good hat. This is my cap with a back down the sides and a chin strap. That's really great on windy days. It's probably protecting ourselves more from the sun than the rain. People sometimes think Tasmania is going to be wet, but March is beautiful and tends to be quite warm. You can take a neck sock, which just protects the neck if it's really hot and sunny and the UV's out, or if it's really cold, just keeps your neck warm. So that's my day gear. I do take a pair of fleece gloves, nothing too special. You probably won't need these for most of the trip, but if it's cold going over one of the alpine passes and it can snow up there, this will save your life. So a pair of fleece or thermal gloves, one pair of underpants and one pair of socks spare. So I wear one pair and I take one spare and that's it. So that's my walking gear. I have a set of walking poles. These are collapsible ones, lightweight. I'll have a pair of sunglasses. Sunglasses are absolutely mandatory down there. You won't last more than a day or two without getting your eyes sunburnt, and a watch just to know what the time is. So that's my walking gear with my waterproof case for my iPhone, and I also have my iPhone in a life-proof case so that if it's just a little bit damp, I'm not having to worry about it. At the end of the day, I want a pair of dry clothes. So I have a pair of socks. These are thermal socks, but you could just take a pair of normal socks for in my sleeping bag in the tent. A spare thermal top that always stays dry in the tent, and a pair of thermal pants mid-weight. If you don't have thermal pants, you can always take a light pair of tracksuit pants. So end of day, you know you're going to be warm. I have a beanie so that's available whether it's the end of the day if it's cold or if it's really cold during the day. All of this goes in a dry bag. Dry bag is another term for a waterproof bag that just folds up and keeps it in the bottom of your pack until you need it. In terms of jackets, I take a down jacket. Aldi have been selling down jackets for about $50, but if you don't want to buy a down jacket, a fleece jacket is fine. Fleece jackets may be a little bit more bulky and heavy, but certainly don't need to spend a lot of money getting a jacket. So that's kind of it for gear. End of day stays there for end of day until you know you're going to be dry and the tent's up. In terms of sleeping, sleep sheet goes inside your sleeping bag. Your sleeping bag is in a dry bag. Sleeping bag to around 0 degrees. Doesn't need to be anything special. Remember, if you've got a dry set of thermals and a good jumper, inside a sleep sheet in your sleeping bag with another person in a tent, you're going to be pretty toasty. A lot of the time, my sleeping bag, I sleep using it with my feet tucked in, zipped in at the bottom, with it kind of spread over me like a blanket, and I sleep really well. I have a U-shaped pillow. That's a $5 one from Kmart. There are other ones available. I did buy this Cedar Summit one. It's a rectangular blow-up one. It looked fantastic in the shop, but I didn't find it very comfortable. Again, before you take anything, make sure you've used it and it works for you. In terms of the sleep mat, this is a half length, so it just covers from my shoulders down to below, around kind of like my knees, I think it is. Let's see, you might be able to see, maybe not. Not full length, they tend to be too heavy. If you don't have one of those, let me know and you can borrow one. If you're going to buy one, there's lots of different ones on the market. If you don't want to spend too much money, I know that Anaconda in their sales have them for about $55, but they do normally retail anywhere between $100 and $200. So that's your sleeping gear. All of that goes in a pack, 60 or 70 litre pack. Depends on your spine length to what sort of pack you have. There's lots of packs on the market. If you don't have a pack, can't borrow one, then let me know, and I've got a spare one. If you're going to be buying one, most welcome to have a chat with me. Importantly, if there's a back pocket, that's where your water bladder goes. 2 litre water bladder with one of the hoses. That's just keeps you hydrated. Putting a water bladder in your backpack with all your dry clothes and food just doesn't make sense to me. So I always put it on the outside, away from all of that gear. My pack doesn't have a pouch. I actually strap on a little day pack, and that actually is really important anyway, because I have first aid kit and so on that I use, so that I've always got that on me if we're leaving camp, say to go fishing or on a day walk. Inside the pack is a pack liner. It's a glorified garbage bag. Kathmandu sell them for about $10. You can use orange garbage bags, but they tend to start to get holes in them over the course of the trip. So these pack liners mean that everything goes in that inside, and then everything is in a dry bag. I'm not sure if I mentioned before, Kmart sell the dry bags for $4 or $5, and they're quite good. They're a little bit heavier than the big brands, but saves $20 or $30. So again, depends on how much you want to spend, how much you're going to use different items. Okay, let's go back around the other side. I want to show you some of my personal items. So in here, toothbrush, toothpaste, small tube, or if you can't get your hands on a small tube, this is products that my dentist, product samples my dentist gives me. Just half use a tube of toothpaste and put it away for your trip. And some cord for my sunglasses. Earplugs are great in case there's a snorer, and also the ocean can absolutely be like sleeping by a runway, so that will help you sleep. Some sunscreen, toilet paper for a day in a Ziploc bag with some hand sanitizer and some soap, and then I have a separate bag, Ziploc bag, with a whole toilet roll. So what that means is that I'm always keeping that toilet roll in my pack dry. If I'm going to the toilet, I always take the smaller one. One, it's better for hygiene, and secondly, it's really good for in case it's raining and you're not going to be worried about getting your toilet paper wet. I do take a poo shovel. You might have seen that on my pack. I take one for the group. There are pit toilets. That's just in case someone doesn't make it to a designated toilet. Head torch, coffee cup, insulated, or you can just take one of those reusable ones. A plastic, like a resin spoon to eat out of, not metal. Sun cream, lip cream, a journal and a pen. Water bottle. You could take one of these wide mouth water bottles. They're great to get a lot of liters into you at the end of the day if you're dehydrated, but it's not absolutely necessary. I take a battery pack for my iPhone because I'm filming and taking lots of photos. Then I'm not actually worried about it. Remember, with your iPhone on airplane mode and not checking all the photos and video, as well as keeping it kind of on a quarter brightness, makes a big difference. So there's lots of little battery packs. That's probably a bit bigger. You might see that there's this weird piece of plastic on top. It's actually a Pringles top with some strapping tape. Why I did that was so that in my pack I didn't actually push down on the on-off button and accidentally run the battery dry, which is quite common with head torches. So that's most of I think that's all the gear. I'll have an expedition first aid kit, and that has all the bandages, spare space sheets, scissors, tweezers, EPIRB, all the safety gear that we need. You'll have a little first aid kit with a snake bandage, some strapping tape, some band-aids, just some bits and pieces. I'll have a map case with the map, compass, some track notes, and other bits and pieces. I throw in a bit of cord, which is really great as a clothesline, and that's the main amount of gear. Well, I've got you watching this, and I'll do another little clip on the tent, sleeping arrangements. This is the stove, so we'll share that between a few of us, and then there's the pots that sit on top of that, and it works really well. I do have a little fishing rod and some other gear. So that's the personal gear. That's enough. It's about 15 minutes to run through all of that, and really it's about keeping it simple. There's lots of other things you probably might get tempted to take, but this is enough. Okay, thanks guys.